So you finally got to the lesson about Ouzan, verb forms. Wow, you're probably panicking. You're probably thinking, this is too much for me to memorize. All these verb forms, all these present tense forms, all these ing forms, it's too much for me. There's no way I'm ever going to memorize them. Well, take a deep breath, relax, take a second to stop. It's going to be okay. My name is Amin, and here are tips and tricks to help you memorize the Ouzan. Wazns are memorized in the past tense form. So past tense form for al-Ouzan. That's usually the one that people refer to when you say wazn wahid, they're referring to the past tense form of the wazn. So, as we know, wazn wahid or wazn one is fa'ala. This is something that you just have to know. There's not a trick to memorize these three letters. I'm sorry, but it's just something that you have to know. Everything from here gets easier. Don't worry. Ithnan. In English, that's a 2. Ithnan. Roman numerals, it's written like this. Form 2 is fa'ala. And how do we remember this? Using a tip or trick. So, we all know that 2 is equal to 1 plus 1. So, we can take form 1, take our same form 1, and add 1 shadda, which is the stressor right there. So, we take our form 1, which is fa'ala, and then we add 1 shadda. Form 3 is fa'ala, and we all know how to say 3 in Arabic. 3 in Arabic is thalatha. 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 And you can hear me stressing the alif. Thalatha. Because we take our form 1, fa'ala, and we're going to add an alif right after the fa. So see that alif? Whenever you say form 3, remember form thalatha, because you're adding the alif right after the fa. So if you don't like this Arabic way, even though it's good as it is thalatha, remember the alif, you can remember that 3, when you say 3 in English, you can stress that E sound because we're adding a vowel into our form 1 wasn't. So we're taking our form 1 and adding a vowel, or taking our form 1 and adding an alif. It's just as easy as that. So form 4 is af'ala. And how can we remember af'ala? Well, saying 4 in Arabic is arba'a. So when you say form 4 or arba'a, you can remember the alif with the hamza on top. Arba'a is the only Arabic number that has an alif with a hamza on top in the beginning. So when you say form 4, form arba'a, arba'a starts with an alif with a hamza, and we take our form 1, we take fa'ala, and then we add an alif with a hamza in the front, and you get af'ala. So just remember the alif with the hamza. Form 5, it's a little bit tricky, it's a little bit tough. Form 5 is tafa'ala. Tafa'ala. It's tafa'ala, the ayn has a shadda, so you stress it, you say tafa'ala. How are we going to remember this one? Well, it's pretty tough, I'm not going to lie, but a way to remember is if you work from 5 to 5, if I work from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m., I work from 5 to 5, that's a tough day. So, if I work from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m., wow, I work from 5 to 5, and that was a tough day. So what you have to remember is the 5 tough 5. Tough, that tough sound is a ta and a fa. Tough sound. And then that's a tough day. When you have a double F, remember that you need a shadda. So you have your wazn 5 starts with a ta and a fa, and it also has a shadda. So your wazn starts with a ta and a fa, 5 tough 5, and it has a shadda, because it was a tough day. We're stressing that double F. Remember, there's that shadda. Don't forget the shadda. Very important. Form 6 is tafa'ala. Another math one. We all know that 6 is 3 times 2. So we take form 3 and then add a 2 in the front, but add a ta in the front. So 2 sounds like ta. For form 6, we take form 3 and add a ta in the front. As we know, form 3 is fa'ala, and then add a ta in the front, ta fa'ala. And that is form 6. Form 7 is in fa'ala. In fa'ala. How do we remember this? Form 7 in English is 7. So when you say 7, the last kind of bit of the number 7, sev-in, that sounds like in, like the apple's in the box. Sev-in, and that reminds you of alif noon sound, in, alif noon in, with a kasra too. So in, and so you take your base form 1, fa'ala, and you put an alif noon in the front, because sev-in fa'ala. In fa'ala, remember the last little bit of saying 7 in English. Form 8, another tricky one, is ifta'ala. Ifta'ala. How do we remember form 8? Well, 8 in English is 8, which sounds like 8, like I ate an apple. And 8 starts with a vowel, starts with a vowel, alif, a, alif, and it has a ta, or a t, a ta in the middle. Ta in the middle. Has a ta in the middle. So if we look at our wazn, it starts with an alif. We take our base form, fa'ala. We take our base form, fa'ala, put an alif in the beginning, because remember 8 starts with a vowel, so our wazn is going to start with an alif, and then we have a ta in the middle, ifta'ala. So that is form 8. Form 9 is so rarely used, you rarely come across it, and so there's no real way to remember it, because it is so rarely used, there's just no reason to, but it's if'ala, if you care. Form 10 is istaf'ala. Istaf'ala. And all you have to remember for 10 is that 10 is 10. 10 is 10. And what you have to remember, 10 is 10, remember that ist sound. 10 is 10. Ist, alif, sin, ta. Ist. Alif, sin, ta, ist. So when you want form 10 is 10. 10 ist taf'ala, form 10 is 10. So you're probably thinking, okay, great. I got these tips and tricks to memorize the past tense of the Ouzan. So forms 1 through 10, not including 9, I got them. I know how to find the past tense forms using the tricks. But I mean, there's 3 columns. There's past, present, and Masdar. What about the other 2 columns? Am I going to have to memorize all these tricks, each a separate trick for each word? No, thankfully, you don't have to memorize a separate trick for every single one. There's a fundamental rule for memorizing the present tense form of the Ouzan. To make it from past to present, you just have to remember one fundamental rule and then kind of one caveat. So the caveat is, if there's an alif or a vowel in the front, if alif in front, if there's an alif in the front, delete it or erase it. The second rule, and this is the fundamental principle, just add a ya in the front. Just add ya in front. So, sounds simple. Let's run through these examples. Form 1, past tense, is fa'ala. So the present tense form of fa'ala, check. Is there an alif in the front? No, there's no alif in the front, so we don't have to delete anything. Just move to step 2, add the ya in the front. Ya in the front, ya fa'ala. Another caveat is that these do not include harakat. These will be pronounced differently than what you expect, but these rules will for sure give you the letters of the present form. So form 2 is fa'ala. Is there an alif in the front? No, so all we do is add a ya. Form 3, no alif in the front, just add ya. Form 4, there is an alif in the front, and this is where you might start to realize the letters for Form 4 and Form 1 of the present tense is exactly the same. Ya fa'ala, ya fa'ala. The difference is in the harakat. This will be pronounced differently than this because of the harakat, but I'm not covering that here. So, Form 5 is tafa'ala. There is no alif in the front, so it's just yatafa'ala. Form 6, no alif in the front, add ya. Form 7, there is an alif in the front in fa'ala, so delete the alif. We're left with na fa'ala, add ya. Yanfa'al. Form 8, there is an alif in the front, delete the alif, add a ya instead. Yafta'al. And then the last form, Form 10, istaf'ala, there is a ya in the front, so we delete it and add a ya instead. Yes. Yastaf'al. So the only difference is going to be the alif, the ya, sorry. The ya in the beginning, and if there's an alif, we deleted it. That is all you need to know to go from past to present. If there's an alif in the front, delete it. Second step, just add the ya in the front. Again, this doesn't cover harakat, but this is the base letters for all the present tense Ouzan. So, I ran, present I run, I am running, Masdar form. How do we figure that out? So, again, it's not as difficult as tricks, but I'm just going to write out the Masdars and I'll show you the pattern here. So here are the 9 Masdars because we do not include 9, so 1 through 10, but we don't include 9. And these are without harakat again, but if we look at 2 and 3, they're very, at least 2 is very different from its base form fa'ala to taf'il. That is very difficult. This is something that you're just going to have to memorize. It's pretty difficult. Same thing with number 3. Number 3 is a bit more difficult, but we know fa'ala. Fa'ala is in there. All you have to do is just add a meme in the front and a ta marbut at the end. Mu fa'ala. So 3 is a little bit easier, but again, something that you just have to memorize. Now if we look at 4, it's form 4, the past tense. To go to the ing form, all we did is add an alif before the lam. Now if we look at form 7, again, all we did is add an alif. If we look at form 8 and 10, same thing. All we did is add an alif right before the last lam. So we take istaf'ala, add an alif before that. Lam, istif'al. Same thing with 8. Ifti'al. 7, same thing. Infi'al. And 4, if'al. So for forms 4, 7, 8, and 10, all you do is add an alif before the last. So I know remembering these numbers is a bit difficult. If we convert this to just letters here, 4, 7, 8, 10. So 4, F-O-S-E-T, 4, 7, 8, 10. You can remember faucet. So I'm sure you guys all know what a faucet is. Faucet sounds similar. So when you think of Masdar, remember faucet, because 4, 7, 8, and 10, all you do is add an alif before them. 2 and 3 you just have to remember. And then if we look at 5 and 6, revisit these, 5 and 6 are exactly the same. Again, they're pronounced very differently because of the harakat, but at least the base letters are going to be the same. So that's the Masdars. 2 and 3, just got to remember, 1 varies, so there is no consistent pattern, unfortunately. That's how Arabic is sometimes, especially for the base kind of verb form. It's all over the place. Form 2 and 3 you have to memorize. 4, 7, 8, and 10, just remember faucet, because all you do is add an alif before the lam. 5 and 6 are the same. So 5 and 6, same. And that is Masdar. So now you should be able to fill out the entire table 1 through 10 of the Ouzan. Yes, it's difficult. Yes, it's not easy. But with these tricks, it's a little bit easier. So, form 1 is fa'ala. Remember, to make it into present form, delete the alif if there's something if there's an alif in the front, and then just add a ya. So it's yaf'ala. And then al-masdar, remember form 1 varies. Form 2 is 1 plus 1. So we take form 1 and add 1 shadda. There's no alif in the front, so when we make it into present, it's just going to add a ya. And then masdar, this is just something that you have to remember. 2, you gotta remember this. 3, remember thalatha, stress that alif because we're taking form 1, adding an alif. Form 3, remember 3 in Arabic is thalatha, stress that alif, thalatha, because we're taking form 1 and we're adding an alif, fa'ala. There's no alif in the front, so to make it present tense, we just add a ya, fa'al. And then form 3, another thing that you just have to memorize, mufa'ala. That's form 3. Form 4, remember 4 in Arabic is arba'a. Arba'a, alif with a hamza. Arba'a, af'ala, they both start with that alif with a hamza. There's an alif in the front, so we have to delete it when we make it into present tense form. And 4, remember, for masdars, faucet or faucet. 4 is one of those, so we take our past tense and then add an alif before the lam. Now, another thing to know for form 4, it goes from alif with a hamza to kasra, if'al, but that's the letters, no hal. Form 5, remember I worked from 5 to 5, and it was a tough day. 5 to 5, 5 to 5. So tough, tafa'ala, and don't forget the shadda on the ayn, because it was a tough day. Tafa'ala, there's no alif in the front, so we just make it yatafa'al. And then the masdar, remember 5 and 6 are the same, so just. Form 6, remember 6 is equal to 3 times 2. So we take our form 3 and add a 2 in the front, add a ta in the front. Tafa'ala. There's no alif in the front, so we just, to make it present, we just add a ya. And then 6 is another one of 5 and 6, remember, are the same when we go make it into masdar, so just. And that's form 6. Form 7, in sound, that alif noon, in fa'ala, There's an alif in the front, so we have to delete it before we add the ya. And form 7 is one of the faucet letters, 7, so we're going to take infa'ala and add an alif before the lam. Infi'al. Form 8, remember 8 in English sounds like 8. 8 starts with a vowel, has a ta in the middle, so starts with an alif, has a ta in the middle. افتعل. There's alif in the front, so we have to delete that when we make it present tense. Before we had the yeah, so افتعل. 8 is one of the faucet letters, so we're going to take our base form, an alif before the last letter, افتعال, into Masdar form. Last one, almost there. Form 10. 10 is 10. Remember, 10 is 10, that ist sound. Ist, alif, sin, ta. Istafala. There's an alif in the front, delete it. And add the ya. Yastafal. And then one of the faucet letters. So take our past tense form, ada, alif, before the lam, istafal. That is the table. If you are a verbal listener, maybe you'll have better results just listening to the song. But for me, this, using tips and tricks, using the fundamental rules, as well as faucet, you can reproduce the entire table without even needing to reference the book once. Again, this is without harakat, but hopefully it was helpful. I know it's tough. I was an Arabic student. I still am an Arabic student. Probably not when you're watching this. Maybe when you're watching this. Who knows? But hope it was helpful. Have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your semester studying Arabic.